We're going to be talking a lot more about functions. They're a powerful component of writing JavaScript, and you need to make sure that you understand them. A function is a bit of code that doesn't run until it is referenced or called. Alert is a function that's built into our browsers. It's a block of code that only runs when we explicitly tell it to. In a way, you can think of a function as a variable that contains logic, in that referencing that variable will run all the code that's stored inside it. All functions share a common pattern. The function name is always immediately followed by a set of parentheses, no spaces, and then a pair of curly braces that contain their associated code. The parentheses sometimes contain additional information used by the function. These are called arguments. Arguments are data that can influence how the function behaves. For example, in the alert function, it accepts a string of text as an argument and uses that information to populate the resulting dialog box. There are two types of functions. Those that come out of the box, we refer to these as native JavaScript functions, and those that you make up yourself, we refer to these as custom functions. Let's look at each one. There are hundreds of predefined functions built right into JavaScript. These include things like alert, confirm, prompt, among many others. These functions trigger browser-level dialog boxes. For instance, date returns the current date and time. If you use parseInt, this function, among other things, is going to take a string data type containing numbers and turn them into the number data type. The string is passed to the function as an argument. If we use the setTimeout, this is going to execute a function after a specific delay. The function is specified in the first argument, in this case function name, and then the delay is specified in milliseconds in the second argument. In this example, 5,000 milliseconds equals 5 seconds. There are scores of more beyond these as well. Custom functions are those that you make up yourself. To create a custom function, we type the function keyword followed by a name for that particular function. That's preceded by the opening and closing parentheses and followed finally by the opening and closing curly braces. So it's always structured like this: function, the name of the function, and the parentheses, and then we can specify the actual instructions that are going to go inside the curly braces. Just as with variables and arrays, the function's name can be anything you want, but all the same naming syntax rules apply. If we were to create a function that just alerts some text, which is a little redundant, I know, but let's just look at this example. Here I have a basic page. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to run an alert. So we'll type alert and then we'll type our message in the parentheses. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Here's my page inside of the browser, and when the page first loads, you can see that the alert opens and lets you know that the function just ran. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make our function a little bit more usable by declaring our function, and then we can call our function. This is going to execute the code anywhere in our script, and we can do this by writing the following. We're going to take the existing code that we have, but I'm going to create a function, and we'll call the function foo. Inside the curly braces, I'm going to specify my alert, and then I'm going to close the curly braces for the function. At this point, if we save our page and look at it inside of the browser, nothing is going to happen, and that's because we've declared the function, but we actually haven't called the function. In order for the function to actually run, we need to call it, and you simply do that by stating the function name, opening and closing parentheses, and adding the semicolon. If we save our page now and look in the browser, you can see that right away the function runs. This is just a quick overview of what functions are. We're going to be looking at functions a lot more in detail in some of the upcoming lessons.